Hi everybody, it's Jim Durkin. Okay, what we're showing today is Impact Suite version 7 for ACT 2018. Let's see, everybody should be able to see my desktop. So what we have is ACT desktop running right now with Impact Suite installed. We can see classically Impact Suite's installed because of our navigation bar on the left hand side. That's our big visual giveaway. To get to all the features and functions inside, inside of Impact Suite, if you go to your tools menu to Impact Suite, this is where all of our settings are. The first thing I want to show you, let's close this. Actually, let's just close ACT down. With ACT version 7, we now have a subscription model, which means you can subscribe to it on a monthly or a yearly basis. Or, of course, you can purchase a traditional license. I always say when you shut it down and restart it. The reason why I'm restarting ACT is to show you that we can register our license of Impact Suite on the fly. I don't need to know all my serial numbers. I can buy a 10 user pack, and on that 10 user pack, I can go around to each workstation, and on that workstation I can add in the serial number. Actually, on this computer, it's already registered. So we're going to start this again. What we're going to do here, and actually this will show you the whole cycle then, we're going to go to the Tools menu, we're going to go to Impact Suite, and we're going to unregister this copy. So say this copy is on a PC that you are about to move out and bring another one in. We can actually remove our product key. So I'm going to say here it is, remove. This is a confirmation. We'll say yes. Removing the key will deactivate the software. Say yes. So that serial number 1A77 is now deactivated on this computer. So again, let's close ACT down. We're going to walk over to our other workstation. Let's go and install ACT and open it up on that workstation or laptop or tablet or whatever device you're putting it on. Now again, this time when we come forward, what's going to happen is we're going to come to our traditional splash screen, and here we are. Impact Suite says we have 30 days remaining. I can use it as a trial, same way we did it in the past, but now I also can use it as a subscription. So I'm going to want to go in to my account, so here's my account, and I'm going to say open my account. And what it is now done is it's communicated with the web server and pulled down the 5 serial numbers that you have in your account. I can see which serial numbers are used by which person in the office. This one was the one that was registered, and I unregistered it. So you can see it's currently unused. It now pasted that key in there. So again, I didn't have to know the key. I just had to know my name and email into my account. Your name and email and password in the account is what you gave us when you made the purchase. If you've gone through our web store and it says enter in your name, address, company, email, and password, that's what it's asking for. All right, so I'm just going to say activate this now. So we're now activated on here. And what I was saying about managing that account, I can go and manage all those serial numbers. If I just go to About Impact Suite, and then I could say manage my subscriptions. Let me grab this from the other screen. So here it is. What it did is, by managing each subscription, I can go into my account on the server at any time. I'll log in to my account. And here's my account online, 24/7. I can go, here's my serial numbers. And there's those serial numbers that I saw on the desktop. So right from here, I can reissue those serial numbers, whether it's a desktop or it's a web registration. Okay, so that's the management side. Okay, so we're talking about dynamic filtering, and people know that we have an inline filtering mechanism, which is, give me where the project name equals X, the status is open, location. These are just fields inside of this custom table. Dynamic filtering is, what if I wanted to find out all my contacts who live in the state of New York? So I'll say here, this is just X contact. State equals New York. So what ACT's going to do is look up the state equals New York, or whatever filter criteria that you have in the ACT world. Somebody actually told me they were doing is they had a seminar they went to, so they're looking up everybody by that seminar date. Well, now what I can do is, of course, ACT has that. If I go back into my project list, as you can see, I'm still looking at all these different people in the projects. I got 85 projects happening. Well, I can now say look up projects based on the current contact lookup. And what this does is it turns it into New York. So there's everybody in New York. And again, this is dynamic. So if I come into here and I say look up state equals California, state equals California, say okay, and go back to projects, and see projects automatically, dynamically updated its filter based on the filter of the current contact. Where is this really useful? Histories, notes, things like that also, not just custom tables. I talked about the person that they were using it after a webinar or a session they did. And what they would do is they would then say, go and look up all my contacts who I imported last week and disseminated to all my sales guys. Now I want to go into my history list view and I want to see all the touches done for those 88 contacts that were imported, that were leads from Trade Show A. It's very powerful that way. Okay, second thing we did is we added a second calendar to the calendar view. Go to calendars. Now everybody's used to our calendar enhancement, or they've seen our calendar enhancement on that we replace ACT's master calendar. And up till this time, we always had this day view over here. See this little day view on the right hand side? It's underneath the the notes and the tasks list area on the left. I'm double clicking too quick. Well, and that day view. What somebody had to request was, like, say if you wanted to go and say, I want the monthly view. Here's the monthly. Well, this is still the day view down here. They wanted to see a week view, and that's what's new. If you right click on this menu, on this small calendar now, we now have a view option. So I want to see this as a weekly view. Well, it's kind of small here, but what happens, what these users were doing is they were actually flipping kind of this navigation around. And so they were looking at the monthly on the left side, and then on the right side, they were looking at it more like a work week view. And so they'd be able to sit here and say, week to week, what's really going on, and be able to give themselves a very quick and clean view of a month to month accessible on the calendar. So what's this week look like? What's this week truly look like? And also on here, if you go into multiple columns, display side-by-side columns, which means we're going to display Chris Hoffman's column next to Betty's. Now you can start to see where this gets kind of very powerful in here, where you're displaying users side by side in a list view on the right and a small monthly calendar on the left. Okay, let's go over to contact details window. On the contact details windows, I think I've been past it once before here, and you may have noticed a couple of things, but I'm just going to say look up my record, Chris Hoffman's record. And the one thing that you're going to notice is that we have a yellow pop-up notes, or sticky notes as we call it. So sticky notes are now in Impact 7. To create a new sticky notes, it's simple as clicking on the little sticky note button here and say new note. Now this note, you can right click on it, change background colors. We want to make this green. We want to put it over here. We want it to be prominent. And then what will happen is it'll remember its position, its size, and everything else. So when you say look up, all contacts, right? Now we're on all contacts. And as we navigate between contact records, if anybody has a sticky note, that sticky note will pop up. So let's see. Chris doesn't have one. Jameson doesn't have one. We don't have any of them here. But again, if we go back to look at my records, look up mine, then we see that these notes pop up positioned where they were. If we want to complete this note, we can just right click and delete that note. That note will go away forever. A part of the Smart Notes, why it's called Smart Notes, not just sticky notes, is the other half that's in here. If we go to Impact Suite, and let's go to the Notes tab. So here's all the tabs, the sections of Impact, and let's go to Notes. Now, this is nice that Chris, as a database administrator, that this pops up for us, that somebody stuck that note. But we may want to create a note that says, hey, this user has opportunities over 90 days old. So all these conditional notes we can also do, not just sticky. That's conditional for being Smart Notes. And in order to do that, we can just create a new condition here. So again, the Notes tab, new condition, and I'll call it ops greater than $10,000, right? Rule is active. We can put an expiration here. It applies to contacts, and then we can say what the condition is. So condition is, opportunity records, opportunity total, cost, where's total, opportunity subtotal. Oh, that's product. Opportunity total. Opportunity total is greater than 10,000. And so we'll add that to the list. Now we can have multiple conditions in here. A greater than this, and a product A is on their invoice. We'll just say okay to that. Save changes to this query, yes. We'll save some changes. We'll say op greater than, just to make our lives quick here. Just say cancel. When I'm saying okay, what's happening is ACT is asking us to replace the current lookup of opportunities behind this. We really don't need to do that. We have it saved. It's here. It's opportunities greater than. And I just need to go and put a check mark in there that this is the condition that's going to be applied by the Smart Notes. The last thing we want to do is we want to enter the note in. This is the note, representation of the note that pops up. So if we wanted to pop up as blue, or if we wanted to pop up as red, we could do that. So I can say like test the size and position. I can then have this note, this is just pseudo. I'll just say, oh, this note always pops up over here. So I'll save it. So it gave me X and Y coordinates of where it pops up. So that's it. So that note is done. I can insert some specialized text. That'll pop up here also. And I'll just say okay to that. So that is Smart Notes. Okay. On the next one, we have tab indicators. All right, let me take a pause here because, as I said, I have multiple monitors here and I have a few questions here. The notes, yeah, set the font, set the size. I showed you how to set the background color. If I right click on the top menu bar of the note, that's where you get this background color. But if I highlight something here, text, and I right click on it, then you get the formatting pop-up menu. So I can say I want the font to be whatever font I want it to be. So I can do, this 14 point, and that's what it changes to. Also, it supports copy and paste. So if you paste something, it'll paste that straight in there too. So you can grab information from other places and paste it in. Okay. Again, right clicking and, hyperlinks, bookmarks, paragraph, fonts, everything you expect in a simple word processor. The next thing that's in New Impact is the tab indicators. So again, we go to Tools menu to Impact Suite, and then over here we come to tabs. You've been noticing here tab indicators down here. See where it says history 112? It's green and it's activities. That's indicators. Basically, it's indicating there's 112 histories underneath that tab. There are no opportunities because it's white, and there are activities because it's green. So we can set it up, each one of these tabs, once you come into here, and say, well, on the activities, don't display an indicator. But on the relationships, I want an indicator, and I want it to count all the relationships for that client. Every tab inside of here has the ability to have an indicator on it. One of the nice things that you can do is, again, going back to our conditional formatting, if you have a, let's just say, what's it, user field tab, right? So here's a tab that says user fields. Everybody knows Axe user field, it's just field A, B, C, and D. There's nothing really to count underneath of it. There ain't 4 fields filled in. It's not 4 activities. But what we could do is we can create a criteria match. So here on the user fields, tab indicator, we can make indication green if this contact matches the criteria. Remember, we created a criteria for the pop-up menu to happen, or the pop-up smart note. So the opportunity is greater than this. Well, we can also do the same thing using that same criteria and say, hey, on the user field, put a blue check mark if this opportunity has, if this contact has opportunities greater than $10,000, or whatever I put in there. So that's the tab indicators. And what we've been doing here is, let's go and just look up all contacts. And let's go here. So we're in contact 1, right? So I just wanted to get us to a list here of contacts. So you can see everything is pretty much zeros down here. Oh, here we go, 112. Let's just skip to the next record. And Jane Chen pretty much is empty. Let's go to the first record. Chris Noble has nothing. Next record. So as the users are using it throughout the day, they could say, hey, I just walked on to Andy Harrison's and I got 2 greens. What are they about? Well, histories, I got 7 histories that have been recorded, and I have green, so I have active opportunities underneath here. And this is where it blends into the question people had about this address and latest activities up here. One of the things that we're doing, and also in Impact 7, is presenting you with a deeper set of information at your fingertips. What this is, this activity list up here, is just that. This is the activity list, right? And I can come along here, and I didn't really spend much time here, and I can make it look like something you're used to. It's a type of meeting. It's what date it is. It's got all this nice thing. So basically, you don't have to now go to the activity tab to see your activities for this user. And in fact, not only do you not have to do that, you don't have to see it in a list view. I could see it in a chart view. So what this is showing me is the activities list in our chart view mechanism by year. So I can see he had 1 activity in, this is by quarter actually. So in the 3rd quarter, then the 4th, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, this quarter. So now think of it as I'm walking on to different people. I walk on to Ann's record. Oh, hey, there you go, Ann. Finally, I hit somebody. I was wondering when that was going to happen. So Ann has opportunities greater than $10,000. So this just shows up there for me. I also see that Ann, in 2016, I had 3 activities I collected for her. So let's just go to the next user. And again, these will come up. Okay, so the next user. Now we're going to find a bunch of people, right? That all match this criteria. Yeah, really, there are. Okay. And on this, we just close this, get rid of it. Let's just stay with, let's go to my record. Let's go look up back to my record for a second. Because not only, I mean, we have activities here, and the activities are going to show in this chart. Over here. So here is Chris Hoffman's. So I can see that Chris Hoffman activities, well, quarter by quarter, he's increased his activities. Now, Chris Hoffman's the end user, so, you know, he should have a lot of activities. But if this was a client, you'd be saying, hey, this client, we touch him 92 times a quarter. It's a pretty busy client. So that's the latest activities here. This chart over here can be information from any tab, anywhere inside of ACT. So opportunities, histories, notes, and here's what's really cool about it, custom tables. So inside of custom tables, here's Chris Hoffman. He has a pledges table, right? I'm going to go and click on the pledges table, and let's see what Chris Hoffman has done for us. Well, it's a chart already. So actually, I'm going to flip off of it and show you. What we could do is we could put that chart here, and I've done that already. I'm just going to flip our layout here. Instead of having the latest activities, I want to see his pledge chart. And now his pledge chart is up here. So I have this broken down, not year by year. That's an easy one to do. I actually broke down the pledge chart by who he pledged to. So he pledged $170 to NPR. He pledged $200 to CHOP, which is the Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, and a university. So he pledged $125. So now I can start scooting around records. I'll walk onto Chris Hoffman's. I'll say, hey, he's a big donator of us. I don't have to go and hunt down his information. His information is right at our fingertips. Because we're adding all this visual information on the top of ACT, we also found out that people were starting to get really cluttersome inside of the ACT data entry portion. So we are now also delivering a tab controller, and that's what the address is. So you can have tab controller inside of here and design it so you can have tabs inside of tabs, so you can visually group and organize like information inside of the contact details view. History buttons is another new one. Let me just go to history a second. For users that do cold calling, or any type of calling, really doesn't be cold calling, any type of calling, any sales guy, they spend their life on the phone. Once they see this feature, and if you're looking at it, it's just these 4 little buttons down here. I don't know if you found them yet. That's our history buttons. These buttons are scriptable and configurable. If I'm leaving a message on a user, I'm doing a phone call, I dial a number, and I want to leave a message. As you know, you got to do like 3 or 4 clicks inside of ACT to leave that message. Well, we don't have to do that anymore. This could be a 1 button. I just hit that 1 button, and it records that it left a message. Let's just go to, let's just say look up all contacts. And, oh, somebody's asking me if this is going to be recorded. Yes, this is going to be recorded. I'll have it posted up on our video page. Okay, so close this and then go to histories and then click on this button, histories, and there it is. So I had a call attempted here. Well, let me click on the green button. What does the green button do? It said meeting held. These are configurable, like I said. So if I go back to here, tools, Impact Suite, go back to histories, here's the buttons. So I'm going to say call attempted. And this one, I'm going to say call left message. So I'm going to change this to call left message. This one's call left message. Any of your custom activities. So I'm going to say this is an appointment. I'm going to call this an appointment. And on the appointment, I'm going to say it was completed, but I'm going to say open it up on the click. So again, this is just something little scripting. So I'm just going to say okay to that. Close down the settings window. And now you see I have text there. So I'll say call attempted. Okay, that call was attempted. Call, I left a message. Yeah, this next guy I left a message. This one, I scheduled an appointment. So there it is. So the appointment, and it pops up for me. It was completed. I talked to him. You know, I needs a follow-up. Terrible place to put it, but we'll just say needs a follow-up. As you can see now, I don't have to go back and forth, and I can script my actions on every phone call I take. So again, once the sales guys see that, they say that was worth the price of admission. Last new one is QuickBooks. So they're saying, what's up with QuickBooks? I'll give you a background. 3 years ago, I was doing a lot of work with QuickBooks, didn't have it ready, went to the ACT trade show. Lo and behold, I think 2 or even 3 other add-on developers came out with a QuickBooks add-on at that time. They're all very good and powerful add-ons. They do a lot. Not trying to say we're going to do anything near them. But what we had over the years is people still asking us, hey, I just want it simple. I want to take my invoice in the opportunity and I want to post it to my QuickBooks. Simple, plain, and dim. We had the code lying around. We had been doing it a lot of times for custom tables, but we finally decided to add it in. Not trying to steal the thunder of those big, glorious, AR, AP, GL tie-ins with ACT. We're a simple post to QuickBooks. But again, sometimes the simple post to QuickBooks is all the end user needs. So I'm going to go to this record. Let's go to A1 Services. Here you go. Yeah, here's one for $300, right? Very simple. I'm going to go QuickBooks. It just gives me a reference. Here's the name. That's the name of the opportunity. And the amount, $300. And this is the QuickBooks file that it's going to post into. I have a file I created called Durkin Demo, QuickBooks file. That's it. I'm just going to hit post. Let's see what happens. You notice at the bottom of my screen, that's QuickBooks asking me what to do. So QuickBooks is asking for the application cert. First time you do this, that's what QuickBooks does. It doesn't know how to handle this incoming request because it never saw a program called SwiftPage or Impact or ACT before. So you say yes or say no, you'll deny it. Yes, prompt for each time. I'm just going to say yes. I'll say continue. So it's been granted. It's been done. We come into here and now I think we just say, yeah, oh, there it is. Sorry, I was already there. Active customers, invoice, $300. So there it is. That simple, it posted. If you go into it, it will have the item code and the description of each line item that was in that invoice. Again, very simple ACT post to QuickBooks feature inside Impact Suite. And lets you know that Impact is posted. This is Jim Durkin, and I want to thank you for attending this webinar.